RMBT Office 5522, 13 February 2021, 22, Saquarema City, Rio de Janeiro, Federative Unit, National State, Brazil. We will move from the point we stopped, in the very beginning of the day, after hours, Brazil, maybe the very beginning of the morning on Europe, and, kind of having the new day on America. We had a situation which is the global taxation of global results of all global business. We have a large number of global business with headquarters in America. And we have the local taxation in each nation that will be going against these global business as units in each one of those nations. We got as an example, for instance, the IBM. The IBM global result will suffer a global taxation led by OECD as speech as and planning as 15% of the global result. And I have a taxation in Brazil at the unit Brazil as 45% of the entire result in Brazil, which is a piece of my global result. We could observe that all tax system around the globe, which is the public investment, the transfers and it's associated with the pandemic event. And everybody needs unable to have the most proper transparency and accountability because we have a lot of fraud. It's complained by the OECD in the same way. The corruption goes anywhere and affects we all. We will observe that indeed the model and the interval notation is showing that when I have the taxation, for instance, one more time, of my global business, which is this square, and it's 15% of my global business. Indeed, I have equally the taxation as 45% of my unit in Brazil, and I have, an area here with kind of enforcement as taxation, and these two both indeed are an extra taxation. It means that my business is under punishment as a player, a competitive player at the market. And we have an economic effect limit, Laffer effect, which implies that no one will pay abusive taxation and you has the right to resist and do not pay because it's abusive, especially when we had criminal scams going from public treasury, public departments, public budgets, sustaining these kind of things. Then we will consider maybe all global companies, especially all American global companies, that will do a design of the entire market, because this, as we could get by interval notation, will set a disruptive situation, which the first one I will have the gap as 45%. The second one, I will have the gap considering my unit in Brazil, and this is my interval of activity. You bited me too much. I have this first, global laws I will consider as the macro, as global conjuncture, and I will have another loss here as micro by each government that is doing taxation against my units. And you for sure will be destroyed. And then you keep your argument at the ACD because I will bring all units and close all doors of my global companies American to America. They are now only American companies. They are not global anymore. It means that you will not have 15% of taxation against my global companies, and then you will not have 45% of the taxation like Brazil and other areas, especially those areas that do nothing and try to steal the property of everybody by abusive procedure, taxation and things like this. Now I have a clear and clean board. You know, this is all my global companies, Americans, that now are only American companies doing business in other areas by an agent. I will have the designation of a single agent because we are in pandemic. If you don't need this structure as capital asset fixed as a building or something like this all around the globe. Everybody will come back to America and will pay the American tax properly. Only this. You are having a huge gain, avoiding a huge loss. First thing of all, we have a new design of the market. There are no global American business anymore. Only American business with international agents doing this as business. And I will have a single variable, which is kind of almost an index that will do business all around the globe on up to 197. And those business, guess what, will be signed in USA because they will be under the American law and respecting the American taxation. Are you happy, ACD? Keep your thematic panel. There are no global business Americans anymore. Have a nice Sunday.